Hey guys, Dr. Atkin here. As promised, I wanted to give you exactly what I do and take when I get sick. Now, obviously I love, even more than talking about what to do when you get sick, I love talking about how not to get sick. We're not going to talk about that right now. We've talked about our immune army, which is going to keep us from getting sick, but we're going to talk about some reinforcements, what reinforcements we can add to our immune army when the going gets rough and our immune system is starting to lose the battle. So my wife is off at the park with the kids, and so I decided to raid the house and go around and find everything that we use when we get sick. So this will be beneficial not only to tell you what to do, but what to do for your kids. My wife is with me every step of the way on this, so I probably should have just waited until she got home because there's going to be stuff I'll forget, and she is fantastic at being the nurse and caregiver in our home. But here's what we do when we get sick. So first we're going to talk about what happens more than anything else, and that's, coughs and colds, and, sometimes it may even get to a flu. In fact, just a couple of months ago, it had been a long time since I got the flu, and I guess I'm not even 100% sure it was the flu. It sure felt like it, but we just had a pretty significant experience in our life, and the next day I was drained. My head hurt, my stomach hurt. I was just, I was in terrible shape, could hardly walk. And so here's what I did, and here's what we always do. First of all, our kids love it when they get sick because they know that they're going to get juice. When you get sick, your body is taxed. It doesn't have energy for things such as digestion. It would rather not spend time on digesting foods. That's where when you see animals get sick, they usually stop eating. So, we're not going to get into fasting, but your body needs to extract vitamins and minerals with as little effort as it possibly can. And juice is literally the best way. It's like drawing, the blood out of fruits and vegetables and just injecting that fantastic nutrition and all the water and vitamins and minerals that come with it. So juice should be the primary thing that you actually use to, support yourself. That and plenty of water. So my favorite one, and you can get online and, search best juice for whatever the ailment is, and it'll give you a million recipes. But what we love is apple celery ginger juice. So I'll go to the store, I'll grab a bag of apples. I like Golden Delicious, but I only get it for juice. So I only had a bag of regular apples here, some celery, and we'll get some fresh ginger. I looked around, apparently my wife used the last of our fresh ginger earlier this week. But you just cut off a little chunk of it. Every grocery store will have it. It's usually kind of, in a single unit. It looks just like a weird little root, and that's what it is. So take off maybe, I don't know, half an inch to an inch, maybe a little bit less the first time you do it if you're not quite used to ginger. But the ginger makes it fantastic. Now, we've got an old juicer. We bought this thing used. Who knows when this was made? Probably the 50s or the 60s. These things they're heavy. They're destined to survive the apocalypse or whatever else. There's a lot of different kind of juicers, and I'm sure there's better juicers than this, but this one is going to last us forever. And so we'll just quarter up those. We'll wash the apples, quarter them up, push them into here. The juice comes on out. We'll put some celery, some ginger in there, and it is fantastic. It is so energizing to drink that juice. And honestly, it makes all the difference in the world. So you really don't need much food. If you are going to eat some food, eat apples and celery and, fresh fruits and vegetables. But chicken noodle soup, come on, with all the salt and sodium. And what's a noodle got in? A little bit of white flour. I appreciate the kind gesture that people talk about chicken noodle soup, but fresh fruits and vegetables, juice, and water, really good fresh water. In fact, I even had myself a glass of water that I was supposed to remember. We use alkaline ionized water. It's just what we drink anyway. We use a Kosin filtration system. Absolutely fantastic for getting the best source of water. And so once again, it's water that's going to nourish you and not add additional toxins like some of our tap water can have in it. But we'll save a little bit more of that topic for another day. So that's kind of what we're doing on a nutrition level. Now, the other thing is that as far as what I'm taking, Dr. Christopher's Cold Season Formula is fantastic because it provides garlic. And garlic is proven. You look at the research, garlic kills bacteria and viruses. It's one of the best thing. In fact, I would say it's this. If there was only one thing that I could take, it would be garlic. And there's a lot of forms of garlic. Dr. Christopher's Cold Season, has some other complementary herbs with it that are very beneficial. I take Cold Season when I'm sick. I take it 15 capsules a day. This is garlic. You can't really, overdo it. Well, I'm sure you can overdo everything, but anyway, it's a vegetable, right? And so I take 15 capsules, sometimes 3 capsules 5 times a day, sometimes 5 capsules 3 times a day. I do that for about 3 days. By then I'm usually feeling a whole lot better. And then I'll take the recommended dosage of 2 capsules 3 times a day, for another 3 to 5 days, just to allow the cold to kind of cycle itself out. I'll take 2 of these a day when I'm around sick people or when it's just a sick time of the year. That prevents it. So lower doses are great at preventing, and then you'll just bump it up the sicker that you are. Now, if you don't have, cold season or you're sick right now, you need to take something. Take fresh garlic. Try to get it organic. Take a clove of garlic, peel it, kind of push it, mash it down with a fork, which will allow the skin to come off easier, and then just mince it. I mean, just get a garlic press. You'll stick your clove of garlic in there, and you'll just press the thing. So you'll press it out, and you'll add it to a tablespoon of honey. Raw, local, unfiltered honey. Super beneficial, super healthy. You should see the nutritional powerhouse that good honey is. Great for allergies. I could just go on and on, but the benefit of it is that it takes away the tough, bitter, spicy, savory, whatever you want to call garlic. When you deal with garlic juice and fresh pressed garlic that's not cooked, it's got a little bit of a kick to it. So the honey is a great thing to add to it, especially when you have a sore throat. It'll allow it to just kind of trickle on down. Some people will take a clove of garlic and just chew it. I don't care how you get it, however you want to get garlic in your system, just don't cook it. Cooking takes out a lot of the beneficial properties. We want to keep it alive. So we can go fresh garlic and honey. We can go a cold season formula. It was funny. I ran into this. Dr. Christopher has what he calls a super garlic immune formula. I learned about this years and years ago and had some at my practice. And nobody bought it because I never really talked much about it. Because in my mind, and it's true, Dr. Christopher created this so that people could survive the plague. Dr. Christopher created these formulas in like the 40s and 1940s and 1950s. And he designed it so that people could survive the plague. The first name of this formula was the anti-plague formula. Of course, the CDC got involved and they didn't like the name that he had chosen for it. They said he can't be claiming that he's curing the plague. So that's where they called it super garlic immune. It's got garlic juice in it. You want to talk about, it's got garlic juice, apple cider vinegar, and a whole concoction of other wonderfully healthy and good things for a sickness. But this stuff is not tasty. It is, it's almost like, no bacteria virus is ever going to want to be around garlic juice. And so I always put it in that category of, this is like the bazooka. This is when we're all dying, this is what we're going to take. And, why would you try to kill an ant, with a machine gun kind of a thing? And it's true. That's bringing out the big guns. Well, 5 years later, this stuff was kind of in my office, was about ready, set to expire. It kind of has its best by date on there. It was expiring. I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And I tried it, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's not great. It's got a kick to it. But it got me better so fast that, I've started using this, on a regular basis. It's absolutely fantastic. So garlic juice is the big guns, right? Cold season is fantastic for your run-of-the-mill cold, and staying healthy. But garlic is what I'll take. And then the other thing is that when we're dealing with colds and we're really congested and it's hard to breathe, and at night you can't sleep, and so you're snoring like a bear, you can't even fall asleep, and it just makes a bad situation worse. I guess, some people take NyQuil and, for some of them it knocks them out, makes them all drowsy. Well, instead of that, every single night, and this is especially good for kids because every night we'll use a humidifier with essential oils. And the reason that's so beneficial is not only does it keep us adults breathing and sleeping, but kids, there's a lot of this stuff that kids can't take, and these things are fantastic. So we started off, just adding some single essential oils, and there's 3 main ones that we use. Tea tree oil is fantastic at killing bacteria and viruses. It is a fantastic antibacterial. Lavender, if you know anything about essential oils, you know that's going to help you sleep. So lavender is very calming, helps you sleep. The other one is eucalyptus. That's kind of what's in the, you know, the Vicks Vapor Rub that we all grew up on that help us smell better. Well, the eucalyptus is what allows you to breathe. And so you get that going in a humidifier about a half hour before you go into bed, and you lay right down, you can breathe again, you can sleep, it's fighting the infection. This tea tree, we'll rub it along the spine and along the bottoms of the feet because it quickly absorbs. If there's a lot of chest congestion, we'll put the tea tree along the chest because that just will absorb right into the skin and go right into your body and give you all those wonderful properties. Now, the upgraded versions that we actually use a lot more, and you know, depending on the brand, you know, you'll be, you know, dealing with different names and different things. We like Plant Therapy, but Germ Fighter is basically an upgraded version of that tea tree oil. So tea tree or Germ Fighter, fantastic. There's a sleep aid that combines lavender with other things too, so that's good for sleep. There's Respray that combines eucalyptus with some other things. And so what we'll do is we'll just, you know, we'll fill up. So something small like this, you know, I'll probably put in, you know, 2 or 3 drops of each one of them. If sleep's the bigger issue, a few more drops of sleep. If I can't breathe, and that's the thing, then some more. I mean, really, there might not be any perfect amount, but, you know, a couple of drops in something this small. If it was a bigger gallon size thing, you know, I'd be putting 5 drops of each in there. And that's just what you're doing at night. So when I get a cold or the flu or something like that, here's what I'm doing: juice, garlic, and essential oils at night. It's an absolute game changer. Now, if we add on and we say, let's say it's more of a cough issue, you know, so if it's more of a throat cough issue, a lot of these things are going to be the same. I'm not going to do anything different as far as what I'm going to use to kill that bacteria and virus, because this is all going to get in there. Dr. Christopher has a fantastic herbal throat formula. It's the licorice is a big part of it. Cherry bark's fantastic for it. There's a couple herbs in there that are really good for the throat. So that's one thing that I'm taking. Now, if I don't have this, or with just me being me, I mean, honestly, what I do, and this is why I reminded myself with the Vitamix out here. By the way, one of the best investments you'll ever make. We have, we use our Vitamix multiple times every single day. But I just kind of came up with this once myself, and I threw in some water and kind of a little base of vegetables. But I mean, the bottom line is I wanted to blend fresh garlic up. So I put in some water, and, you know, onions are another fantastic thing with garlic, by the way. But I put in some, maybe some carrots and, broccoli and, anyway, whatever things I found in the fridge that would make it milky, and it frothed up. And when you smell that thing after blending that up in the Vitamix with a couple cloves of garlic, it is a very pungent, strong odor. And what I would do is I would sip at that, and it would just drain itself down my throat. My throat was constantly getting coated in garlic. You know, for those of you who might not be strong enough for that, once again, honey and garlic, it's going to trickle down your throat. Any way that you can get that on the throat, you know, rubbing some tea tree, you know, right over that part of your throat is going to allow that to get right on in there. And so those are just a couple little tips if it's more of a sore throat. Ear infections. So when kids get ear infections, what we do is we find a way to get garlic in the ear. You're seeing a little bit of a common thread here. Garlic is the best way to get after these kind of sicknesses. And so what there's a combination of garlic oil, and then Dr. Christopher has an ear and nerve formula. And that's got some mullein and lobelia and things like that in it. And so what you'll do is you'll warm it up just a little bit beforehand, because anything hitting the ear that's cold just isn't comfortable. So it's generally my kids that might be dealing with this. You know, we'll put a couple warmed drops into the ear. Now, don't put anything in the ear if the eardrum has ruptured. So if there's been any traces of blood or anything like that, you're not going to be able to use that, because you're not going to put that on a ruptured eardrum. But prior to it being ruptured, completely and totally safe, because it gets in that ear, that garlic oil will get in the ear, And that garlic infuses clear throughout your whole head. So people use this for sinus infections as well too. Anytime that we need to get garlic in, I mean, they'll put garlic on the feet and people can smell it on their breath within, a matter of seconds. You put it in the ears and it's detected clear throughout the bloodstream and body. So that's just a fantastic way to get the garlic in there. Now, if there's a lot of pain, mullein is fantastic for the pain. So we've also, we'll have an ear oil that's just mullein and garlic. We got this one from Herb Farm, which was fantastic. We picked that up at the vitamin shop. And so you can use any combination of things. If you don't have any of it right now, get some good cold pressed olive oil. Mince a clove of garlic into it. And then preferably you're just going to kind of leave it out somewhere warm, maybe on the stove or in the sun, where for a couple of days that garlic can infuse into it. But if you don't have a lot of time, just slowly warm it. You don't want to get this stuff hot because that starts to lose the medicinal qualities, but mince some garlic into it, strain it out, maybe a little cheesecloth or whatever you have to strain it, and you can use that olive oil with the garlic infused into it on a couple of little drops, and it's going to be wonderfully effective as far as that goes. And so you've got the ear oil, you're giving them juice, right? There's no reason for them to be, eating food. All of these same concepts apply. And so that's what we're doing for ear infections. A couple things specific to kids that kids really like. Dr. Christopher has a Kiddy-Well, formula, which is basically the kids' version of cold season. So it's not going to have, it's in a base of glycerin, so it's not going to taste, quite as bad to them. Another one that we have is Kiddy-Immune, which is based in echinacea. And echinacea is a good thing in general. The way that echinacea works is echinacea basically tricks your body into thinking, and it tricks your immune system into thinking it's being attacked. And so your immune system absolutely goes berserk when it takes echinacea, and it, and you produce all these new immune cells and things like that. And that's why echinacea can be so effective, when something, has recently come up. But your immune system isn't going to be tricked for long. You can't take echinacea. I've heard really, after a week, echinacea is not going to be doing you much good because you tricked your body, it figured it out, and now it's wise to you. And that doesn't mean it's never effective again. It's just that, now it's in the future. And so with echinacea, if my kids come home and they're like, oh my gosh, these people are sick, and I'll give them some echinacea, let their immune systems, go berserk and knock it out. Whereas Kiddy-Well is something that you can take a little bit longer. I have Kiddy-Reg up here, which is actually to help people eliminate, to help them go to the bathroom. When we're a little bit constipated, sometimes constipation is the reason why if we can't eliminate out of our bowels, then we try to eliminate out of our lungs and we try to breathe stuff out, and that's when people get sick and have coughs and all this. So sometimes I'll just get my kids pooping again and they'll get better from that alone. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is what to do for an upset stomach. Now, obviously with an upset stomach, there can be lots of different causes as to why that's happening, but the thing that I like to use more than anything else is apple cider vinegar. Now, apple cider vinegar is fantastic for a million different things. Do some research on that and you'll think it's the next cure-all, and truly that can be a daily supplement. But what I do is I'll take a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with a tablespoon of good raw local honey in a cup of water, and you can drink it, you can sip at it, you can do whatever you want, but as that apple cider vinegar gets inside of you, it makes a huge difference and can really calm down an upset stomach. You got to get the good stuff though. I mean, we use Bragg's, which you'll find in several different places, but it's raw, unfiltered. You have to get something that says with the mother, and that's going to be your best type of apple cider vinegar. So no getting the cheap stuff from Walmart that you clean your floor with. Another thing that we'll use for an upset stomach is peppermint essential oil. You rub that on your belly and that can sometimes, be exactly what you need. One thing that we used to use a lot that I couldn't find in our fridge, we need to get some more, is acidophilus. And it's just a type of probiotic, but for whatever reason, we get some acidophilus, we get the liquid version, get that right inside of you, and it's cleared things up within minutes in the past as well too. So that really helps with upset stomachs. So as I'm looking at my table here, I think that's covered just about everything. Obviously, those are the common ones. There might be some other ones that you run into, and certainly reach out to us. As you can tell, I love talking about this stuff. Would love to help with anything else, something that might be a little bit less common. But this is the stuff that you need to start stocking up with. This is stuff that that we, I guess we don't use it all the time because we stay fairly healthy. but it's here for us, and we definitely use it as needed. So this is your reinforcement army. Add it to your cupboards, add it to what you need, refer back to this, and I hope this helps. We'll talk to you soon.